Hey and welcome. Are you an over 40 and finding yourself needing to start over in business or career, or are you wondering where to start, or are overwhelmed by prospecting your... Okay, let's redo that.
Just go natural.
Anyway, what we're trying to say is that we're going to be talking about starting over when you're over 40. And we are Tiffany and Abigail from the CAF-Innate Academy, where we do digital minimalism. It's a learning hub and a community for women over 40 entrepreneurs. And on this channel, we talk about everything that relates to midlife entrepreneurs so that we can create content and generate leads without the overwhelm of social media hamster wheels. There is another way, and it's a digital minimalist way. So if you want to join the journey, make sure you subscribe to our channel. So what I was trying to say at the beginning is what we're talking about in today's video. So being over 40 and starting over your business or your career, right? This is a struggle. Yeah. We have felt it, and many people have felt it.
Yes, I mean, this conversation was triggered by a story that I'd heard from one of my clients who, I mean, she's over 60 actually, and she hasn't worked for many, many years and has found herself in a situation where she's bored. She wants to get back into business. She had her own business before, and she feels now that she's no longer relevant. And so she's a little bit lost. And we had this conversation, Abby, that this is why we are doing what we're doing. We're wanting to help women over 40 who have had a break or are starting a new business or are pivoting their business because things have changed in the business world with the internet and online marketing and all of that. So we want to help you. We want to support you. And so we want to have a candid conversation about that today. So if you are watching and you are in that situation, you are feeling self-doubt, comparisonitis, all these different things that can come in your mind, let's talk about it, and let's see if we can help you, give you some practical and solutions that we can help you with.
Yeah, absolutely, because it's completely normal to experience all of this angst when contemplating reintroducing yourself into the business and career world, when for whatever reason you've had to take a hiatus, whether it's because you're a mom and you've been raising your kids, or maybe circumstances have changed at home, either getting divorced, or maybe your husband's not working anymore and you're needing to become the breadwinner or start contributing more. And certainly in the last 18 months, so many circumstantial things have been forced and thrust upon us that we have had no choice but to reintroduce ourselves. And that can be very unnerving. It can be very unsettling, and it can be it can tap into all of our insecurities. And I think as women over 40, we have a whole new set of insecurities to deal with that we perhaps didn't have when we were younger, because we were naive and ambitious and
less responsibilities.
Yeah, less responsibilities. So it's definitely a different experience for women over 40 to come back into this digital space and come back into the business and career space, because the landscape has completely changed.
Absolutely. And what I mean, we're going to be discussing in this video, what are those strengths that you have now that you didn't have then, and how can you compete in the online world when you are tech challenged, or you are finding that you have to compete against the younger generation. What have you got that is more valuable in a way than the young generation, and how we can change our mindset and see it from different perspectives and give you a little bit more of a motivation and boost and to go for it.
Yeah. So we're going to give you some practical advice that we've seen work for our clients, that we ourselves have implemented. We're going to share some stories of our own journeys. But before we get into that, let's just hash out what are the concerns for women over 40 re-entering the business and career world. So you've touched on the first one already, Tiffany, being that how do I compete with the younger generation? So that's a very real concern, because it just seems all to come so naturally to the younger generations when they've grown up with it. We didn't grow up with it, and so you're essentially being forced to learn a new language, and that's a very scary prospect.
Well, there's two parts to that. I feel that, so one is competing in the online world, so the online marketing world. How can you compete with the tech behind it if you haven't grown up with it? And then the other side is you might not feel you are relevant anymore, so your knowledge is not up to date, no matter what business you are in. For example, the client I was just briefly talking about is in the interior decorating world. So trends have changed. People's tastes have changed compared to 10, 20 years ago. So how do you compete with that? And my answer to that is go with your instinct. I think your instinct when you're a mature woman is much stronger because you have that experience to fall back on. You have that knowledge that the young generation don't, and to really be in touch with your instinct. Also, in terms of competing online with the tech, yes, it is a challenge, but you can learn. It is extremely overwhelming. If you YouTube some things or you're trying to learn, it can be overwhelming. So, I mean, it's a big answer to this question, but I'm just going to touch on some things and then we'll elaborate. Go find a resource where they take you by the hand to show you what you actually need, as opposed to you taking hours out of your day and just watching every video, reading every blog possible, and then just completely getting overwhelmed and then paralyzing. So you need to find a resource that will guide you. You need to find a community that will support you. And I think also women in the older generation are much more able to make deeper connections, I feel, with other women than, I'm just trying to think, when I was younger, I didn't have that need to join communities where I could get the support. I had that kind of that drive, that self-drive.
Yeah.
But the older I get, the more I feel I need to be around women who are in similar and also at a high in places that I want to get to.
Yeah.
You know, so I think that's a very strong thing that we need to focus on.
Yeah, absolutely. And you like that access to the education and the information through free resources like YouTube is it's great, but it's also a double-edged sword, because like you said, the sheer volume that is out there, and how do you know what advice to follow, whose advice is going to get you to where you want to go. And so it is about being able to refine and filter all the relevant information that's going to help you on your journey. And that's an important part of it, because otherwise all of your energy is going into, well, I must just educate, and then you'll end up never actually moving the needle, because you stay in this research mode, the analysis paralysis that you mentioned. And so that can be a big downfall and a big limitation in terms of how you progress and navigate, and a huge part of the overwhelm that women over 40 would be experiencing at the start of this reintroduction journey. Another issue is, related to kind of thinking of the empty nest syndrome. Is I'm not a mom, so I won't have this, but it is a very real issue that you have to redefine who you are and what your role is, not only in your business, but also in your personal life, because come empty nest, the kids no longer need you, they're moving on, and you're having to kind of get to this place of understanding, well, who am I now? Where do I fit in? And the same is true for your business, in that, what do you actually do? Like you said, like sometimes your skill set, your frame of reference, your experience has moved on. The industry has moved on, and things have changed so much that, is it still the right industry for you to be in now? Has time changed so much that you might having to be re-contemplating a brand new industry, a brand new skill set? So that's a very real concern for women who have been out of touch from their area of expertise for any length of time.
Absolutely. And I'm also thinking, your skill set might not be relevant anymore. But what I find is when we reach a certain age, the need to share our experiences and wisdom becomes much stronger. So you could be pivoting your business in terms of teaching that, sharing your wisdom through coaching, through online courses or in-person courses. It doesn't have to be online. Just thinking of examples, if you're an interior decorator, you could run workshops on different, styles, or if you are a painter, techniques that you have developed over the years, you can be passing that on to the next generation. I think that there's a big need to have a legacy, to share what you have learned in your life. And I think that's where the value comes in, is that to be able, instead of completely learning a new skill from scratch, that is very hard. I think take what you have and share it with the world. That's what we're here to do, isn't it? To make an impact, to inspire the next generation. So that is where your power lies. Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's never been a better time to get into the online education space. Like, this is really the new economy, is the education economy. If you've got that all important experience, and you don't get experience with a university degree, you get experience with many, many years of lived, going into it and actually experiencing the experience, and then being able to pass on what you have learned from that. And so there's never been a better time to get into the online education space. The tools that are available, the barriers to entry have never been so low. The technology has advanced so much that literally you have an entire production company, all the tools you need in the one device that you carry around with you in your purse or your pocket every single day. So there is literally no holds bar on how you can be building a business that passes on and creates that legacy, educates and impacts people through the sharing of your knowledge and experience. It's literally just down to your willingness to experiment and the imagination of what you could put out there.
And being open to change. I mean, and there is a lot of resistance to also accept that it has changed, and make the mind, shift your mindset to actually being open to learning new things, and also not getting too frustrated with yourself if it takes longer to learn something than it did before. I mean, that's also true, and to be kind to yourself during these stages. And also what's amazing is with the online world is that you can reach so many more people now. I mean, before you would literally be able to reach people within your local area. Now it's unbelievable that you can be in touch with people in America, in the UK, in Germany, in Australia, all around the world that would benefit from your knowledge and your skills and your wisdom. And you can get it out there using the online tools that are available to us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And the technology it's like anything, that with practice, it gets easier. So it's not something to fear. It's not something to resist. And, we build it up in our minds far more than what the reality is. And with a little bit of guidance and with a little bit of hand holding, you can very quickly find your rhythm and find your groove with the technology that will enable you to then reach and have far bigger impact than you ever would if you were kind of going one-to-one or doing in-person coaching or workshops and things like that. So like you say, having that willingness to learn. And I think we also get to this age where if you have that open mindset, then and you allow space for curiosity to come in, to allow yourself to like, well, let's see how easy it really is. They say it's easy. And if your kids or your grandkids, you watch these like 3-year-olds just pick up a device and they're swiping left and right and clicking here and da 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 da. Nobody taught them that. They learned it, and like you can do that too. It really is just a mindset thing. This curiosity that drives the willingness to learn the new landscape.
Yeah, I mean, touching onto that with the tech challenges. I mean, yes, we have two options, I would say. One is you are open to it and you're willing to try it out, and let's say you did do that and then you still found that it just was too overwhelming for you. Then reach out to your network, reach out to people that could help you. You know, don't try and do it alone. Maybe you have a daughter or a son who would be able to help you, to guide you. Or maybe that's too close to home and they get very frustrated with you. I know that from my personal experience.
Yeah.
You know, then find somebody else who would be able to guide you. But I think that the point is that don't isolate yourself, but reach out, and don't see it as a negative. Don't see it as don't shy away from it or be embarrassed. This world is moving so fast. I have been in this world from pretty much the start, and it has moved so fast that I have sometimes trouble keeping up.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine how it would be if you didn't grow up with this. So do not feel that it's your fault at all. It's just moving way too fast, and so many different opinions are coming out there. So what we're trying to do is focus on what is actually necessary to get the task done, to get to your goal. Trying to minimize all that digital clutter and really focus on what is actually important.
I continue to reflect on an ongoing theme, an ongoing discussion that we have around our choice to quit social media. And it just keeps, every week it comes up. Every week it keeps coming up that people are, you know, because we've made this decision to step away from those platforms. And if you haven't heard us talk about that, then we've got a link in our playlist down below that you can go and watch our video where we talk about the quitting social media. But I am struck week after week by what a huge decision that is, in terms of the impact that it has had. And this week, my major realization around it is just the impact of the FOMO that comes with being all over the place, you know, being on all the social media platforms. And it's incredibly overwhelming. And if that's the mind, like where you think that you need to be going because that's what you see everybody else doing, we want to let you know that you really do not have to go that overwhelming route, that there is a different way. And from my own personal experience, in the time that we have been kind of not on that hamster wheel anymore, I've gotten far more focused, like you say, being focused on, well, what is the business you want to build, and going about actually building it, rather than putting your energy into, oh, well, there's the next thing that I must learn, it's the next thing that I must feed, it's the next thing, next, without, you know, less is more in this digital space, really is what is becoming very clear to me in terms of where are you showing up? How are you showing up? And that FOMO and that being all over the place and spreading yourself too thin, that every day that you're doing that, you are diminishing the amount of impact. You're diminishing the growth of your business. You are diminishing your energy and your resources and your enthusiasm for this new journey that you're on, simply because it's this unending treadmill and it is drawing on all of your resources. And so there is a smart way of doing this and there's a not so smart way of doing this, and knowing the difference and being discerning, which is certainly what we as women over 40 come to realize, that there is a discernment. The older you get, the more you realize, actually, that's not for me, or that is for me, or, you know, actually I do deserve better, or, you know, there is a natural discernment that comes with age that a younger person doesn't have, because they have this, oh, well, I must have it all. There's no, and that's very much a part of this journey is having that discernment, digital discernment. And it gives you permission to then, okay, well, not going to do that, not going to do that, and not going to do that. And let me focus on that. So if there is something new to learn, you can learn it fully. You can be there fully, put all of your attention there, as opposed to trying to learn a bit here, there, and everywhere.
And that, in a way, is a little bit of a secret to success, is focusing your energy, be it Facebook if you want to be on it, be it YouTube if you want to be on it, but do it well. Just focus on one, and the energy that you put in there will get the results. Whereas if you, like Abby says, spread yourself too thin and you're all over the place, you do not give the platform or the tool or the resource enough energy and time to actually get results. So then at the end of the day, you're putting in the same amount of time but getting less out. So it's very important to, I keep going back to it, but trust your instinct. If you feel that social media is not for you, then don't go on it. You don't have to. It really doesn't mean that your business will not do well. It actually could be the opposite. But if you enjoy, I don't know, writing, or, and you really want to put your energy in the blogs, you could put it then on Pinterest, and get, and you focus only on that. Or if you like doing videos, then you could just focus on videos, but really give whatever you have chosen enough energy and time to actually give you the results, and it will compound. It will, increase. And then also the amount of time it takes to learn each platform is just crazy. So do yourself a favor and just choose one, be it whatever it is, just choose one and really give it, I want to say honor it, but I feel kind of like doesn't connect with online stuff for some reason. But give it the time to work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, like, if there's one core underlying theme that comes from this discussion, it is that discernment, that focused choice of where are you going to start, and then start there, like be there fully, be there 100% committed, and say no to more things that you say than you say yes to. I've, heard that theoretically for years and thought I was applying it, but I have only recently realized actually I was not applying it at all. I was saying yes to everything. And every time I said yes to something else, to somebody else's agenda, even down to my clients, this has been an epiphany this week, is that every time I said yes to lowering my prices for a client, or yes to doing a project that was asking more from me than what I was getting in return, I was making their future and their journey more important than my own. And again, it comes down to, I think, this over 40 discernment of, well, what's meaningful for you? You're at the stage in your life where you don't really have the luxury of wasting time anymore. So stop wasting the time and choose wisely. You have enough of experience and frame of reference to know what is the right decision for you and what is not the right decision for you. And then make all the technology in the online space work in alignment to what is meaningful for you, not the opposite way around. Don't be ruled by the online tools and the online journey. Always come back to, well, what's important for me? What are my values? What's my vision? Who am I in this journey? And be guided by that.
Absolutely. I mean, yes, what is in it for you, but in a sense is, if you can show up as your authentic self, naturally the right people will be attracted to that. If you put yourself out there and are not honoring who you are and your values, then you will not be attracting the right people around you, be it clients, be it staff, be it suppliers, whatever. I see that more and more. If I just show up as me, and I am, I have quirkiness, and I'm not very serious, or whatever, the energy, because it's your authentic energy, is such a positive energy, you attract people that are attracted to that, you know, and you're on the same wavelength, and it just makes it so much more fun. And I remember when I first started in business, I would say yes to lower proposals and that I would feel comfortable with, because I was undervaluing myself. And then when I was actually doing the work, I was really reluctant to do the work. I didn't feel that I was being valued, and it hit me very personally. And I did a money mindset shift, and I realized that what I charge is a direct reflection on how I value myself and the skills that I have built and I've learned, the time that has gone into what I've learned and the experiences needs to be reflected in what I charge. And then when I do work with clients that are on the same wavelength, they're happy with the prices, I can really give them my all, because I know I'm being valued. And that is really, really important to, yes, if you are coming into business again from scratch, to remember that no, it's not you coming into business and you need to charge lower prices because you're just starting. No, you have all that experience, all that wisdom, and it might not be that specific skill set, but it's your emotional maturity, your intellectual maturity that adds a different level, and you should be charging the prices that value you. So please keep that in mind. It's very, very important.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a, you know, when you are starting out or pivoting or making this kind of adjustment, and I'm currently going through that right now. Like, so I'm literally the person we are talking to, because as a photographer, my business imploded with the pandemic, because I couldn't be in confined spaces in a studio with clients anymore, and then we escaped to the country and all manner of things that was a result of the pandemic. And so I personally have had to do exactly this and pivot my business. And there's been a major, like you say, a mind shift change. Now the thing like normality, what the normal we were used to, is starting to resurface again to some degree, and you know, people are realizing, you know, we can now do photo shoots and things like that, so they're starting to reach out again. But because my mindset has shifted, and because my business is shifting, my business model is shifting to a much more virtual and online kind of business, I can recognize how much of a people pleaser I was. And my prices reflected it, my business success reflected it, my self-esteem and self-worth reflected it. And now, because I have this much broader picture, I realize how much more impact I can have in the online space. I am more focused because I've gotten rid of a lot of distractions. Now, when the allure of the old way of how I used to earn an income and how I used to serve clients, that is starting to resurface. And I'm now, because I am this much older, and I've had this experience, I'm realizing, well, for every one person I go and do that for, that they are taking away my time to continue to build my online business. And whatever, you know, if it's a course or it's something that I'm a book or whatever it is that I am building for my business that is leverageable for less, like put in the work now and have future sales perpetuated going forward, that one client who needs my time and attention in a singular shoot will now have to buy my time away from those other things that will have a much longer reach and a much wider impact, both on those who consume that product and on myself and the vision I have for my life. It's no longer just about my business and putting money, you know, putting bread and milk on the table. It is about, well, I don't want to be at somebody else's beck and call for the rest of my life. I'm too old for that. I now need to start living a proper life, and one client at a time, being paid a pittance and people pleasing my way, one client at a time, is not going to build that life that I have a vision for. So that to get my one-on-one time, that person's going to have to buy me out of doing the leverage work that and the scalable work that exists with an online business. but it's only through like working with you, Tiffany, especially, and getting that clarity and getting the guidance and knowing and forming that picture of what is possible for me. Like 2 years ago, I would never have known that as a photographer, is an online business even possible for me? I wouldn't have known that it is. And now I kind of had a few of the puzzle pieces, but they were scattered around all over the place and I didn't know how they fit in with each other. Now I know how they fit. I know what puzzle I'm building, and I am putting in the time and the energy into the building of those puzzle pieces, and with intention, commitment, and purpose.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it's possible.
Yeah, and you will only get to that point through your experiences and the people around you.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important to surround yourself with people who are on the same level, so going through the same as you, so you have somebody to talk to, a vent, somebody who's cheering you on. But then also it's very important to surround yourself with people who are a step in front of you. So, they can also guide you through the process, as opposed to sitting by yourself trying to figure it out. It's just, you're going to get upset, frustrated, you're going to
get confused.
Get confused, give up, and you're just not going to get anywhere. I mean, now is the time where, well, I'm talking from my experience. Now I'm a mum of 2. They're very small. My time is precious, so I have to be very focused on what I actually do. I don't have the whole day to work. So the tasks that I do are very intentional. They are, Abby calls it, needle moving tasks. So they actually make a difference. So that's where my digital minimalism comes from, because I need to choose what I spend my time on. Time's precious. But I also have been part of the CAF-Innate Academy and being, having a community of women who are are going through these journeys, and being able to share my knowledge there and my experiences and give them support has opened up something completely different for me, because previously I was just doing one-on-one clients, which I absolutely love, because I do love that connection. But I reached a point where my time, I didn't have more time. I couldn't take on more clients. So how do I reach more women who are needing the online marketing support? How do I, touch their lives, help them build their businesses? I've hit a door, and that's where I met, and where Abby and I reconnected, and we've developed more and more the CAF-Innate Academy for that purpose, to be able to reach out and support women entrepreneurs over 40 and help them through their tech challenges, and hopefully they can then build their businesses and have an impact in their lives and then pass that on. So I think that's more and more my role and my meaning in life. Although I have my children, they're my meaning in life. But this is also very important for me as my identity. When I first had children, it was all about the children. You didn't have time for anything else. Now, my identity is resurfacing. I'm having more time to go and do exercise, where I'm reconnecting again with who I am as a person. And part of that is sharing or connecting with other women and sharing my knowledge. That's such an important part of my identity. And the more and more I get older, the more I want to share and help and learn and teach knowledge. So I think that's very it's something that you only get when you're older, when you go through your experiences.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. It's like, what one day we won't be here, and then what is the impact that we will have left behind? Like you say, that legacy. And yes, obviously your kids and your family is that, but how have you changed the world? How have you made the world a better place, just by your mere presence and by you following what you feel called? Like, what is your calling? And that's exactly what this is. In my journal this morning, I actually wrote down that in fact, maybe, no, it's all the way over there. That it is I want to, what did I say? I want to inspire, educate, and there was another word, but I can't remember what it is right now. But I want to inspire and educate women so that they can continue on to inspire and educate others. So that it has that ripple effect, so that knowing that every time you do put a product out there, or you do a video, or you do whatever it is online, you reach somebody who, and them having seen that piece of content or read that article or watched that video, something shifts in them, even if it's only a tiny shift, but something shifts in them and the trajectory changes slightly. And because they made a decision, a different decision in that moment, the ripple effect of what they go on and do, their actions could potentially impact and continue the positive, that was what it was, positive impact, education and inspiration.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and that's what we like. What are we leaving behind? Like, it's kind of morbid to think about, but you do get to this point when you're younger, you're like invincible, like life carries on. But we're reaching like the end of 2020 now, and time just speeds up the older we get. So we can't sit around and mess around anymore. We have to be intentional, and we have to be really clear about what we want to affect in our own lives and the lives of others. And this is the way to do it.
And that comes down to your why. I mean, that's a class, Abby, that you've done in the CAF-Innate Academy, is defining your why, and why is important. And that will drive you through the ups and downs of entrepreneurship and life. So you have to be very clear on your why. That will motivate you. So you use that as your secret weapon, in a way, to get you through difficult situations.
Yeah, it's your compass. It's your internal compass. It tells you when you're on track and when you're off track, because it's very easy in this noisy online space to get sidetracked. And I was sidetracked for more than a decade, because I was doing this, then I was doing this, and I'm going all over the place, seeing what others are doing, dabbling here and there, but never being really focused like I am now. And in a few short weeks, the impact of it has been incredible. And there's so much strength and confidence that comes from being handed a recipe and saying, here you go, this is what you've been looking for. Follow this recipe, follow these steps. Do the thing, because learning the thing is one thing, but implementing is where change actually happens. And when you have done this is what you will do next. And it is so simple, but so profound. Just having that roadmap, having that recipe to follow, and being given the recipe by the right person who understands what it is that you're trying to achieve, and understands your frame of reference as well, and the unique struggles that you are an older woman competing in a noisy world, and going through your own evolution as you redefine this new chapter of your life.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, having a recipe handed to you just takes away all that anxiety and frustration and overwhelm that we all get. And so that's really, really important. And we do have those roadmaps in the CAF-Innate Academy. So we have some solutions, I believe, to some of the the pain points of when you are a woman entrepreneur over 40 starting over. So let's have a look here. And we did dabble on the whole, your why, because that will get you through the biggest hurdles. So that's very, very important. So if you start with that, that's pretty much your starting point, really. From there, if you can get that, although it is an ever evolving why, but if you can get to that, then everything else if that serves your why, you do that. If this doesn't serve your why, you don't do that. It just gives you so much more clarity on what will serve you, what will help you in your business and your life. What do we have here? Less is more, quality over quantity. So instead of trying to do absolutely everything, you focus on doing something correctly. Putting your energy in it. That's what we were talking about earlier, is that you choose a platform. If you're doing online marketing, you choose the platform and you focus and your energy on that, as opposed to being absolutely everywhere. Because our time is so limited, especially if we have children. If we don't have children, we have other responsibilities. Our responsibilities are so much more when we're older than when we're younger. When we're younger, we hardly have rent to pay. We just need money for partying and having a good time, and that we were much more we are much more risk averse now because of those big responsibilities in our lives. So we need to be very focused and intentional with our time and doing activities that will actually move your business forward. And that is tied in with your why. What else do we have?
That with age comes experience, and no, you can't buy that anywhere. You have to live it, and that's the advantage. That's a major advantage that we have, is because we have that lived experience, and so we have insight. We might not have the specific know-how, like the technical know-how, but we have insight, and we have stories that we can both share but also learn from. So you can't get that from any educational institution. That comes with just the school of life.
Absolutely. And also the first 3 years of starting a business, or if you are pivoting your business, that's effectively in a way starting from scratch again. All these different things, they take time. 3 years is what they say. You should keep going. And once you hit that 3-year mark, I've noticed it from my business as well, things kind of just fall into place. The first 3 years are a struggle. You need to get clients in, you need to, to pay the bills and so on. An advantage about having an online business, your expenses are a lot less. I had a business in South Africa where I was importing and exporting furniture and home decoration. And let me tell you, there were a lot of expenses. So you have a lot more stress because you've got staff wages to pay. You've got stock that is sitting in the warehouse. You have, all these different costs that multiply. And you've got to be bringing in the sales and the income to balance that out and make a profit. With an online business, your expenses are a lot less. You've got your internet, you've got maybe a few tools, online tools, website hosting, and all these different little things. But in comparison to a brick and mortar business, is a lot less. So that's a big advantage of having an online business. So that's that. So 3 years, and if you know your why, that can pull you through those 3 years to keep pushing and pushing and pushing. Although after 3 years it's not easy, but you are then much more comfortable in how things are working. You have your processes hopefully in place, it will make your life a lot easier. Some tasks are on automatic, so you don't have to be physically doing them all the time. So setting up these processes and systems are really, really important, so that you're not wasting time on doing these little things. So you're actually doing tasks that actually bring in income. So connecting, networking with other people, getting out there. Even though you have an online business, you could do online networking events, or you can go in person as well. Very important to get yourself out there and seen, as opposed to hiding behind your computer. So very, very important is networking. And generally with your age, you have a bigger network. In a sense, you are also more confident. I find I'm much more confident to talk to strangers now than I was 10, 20 years ago. Maybe 20 years ago is too far behind. There's lots of different things, but an online business can really help in terms of the barrier to entry is a lot less than a full brick and mortar business.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really the best time now, there's no reason not to start. And as long as you've got that open mindset, you've got that curiosity, that willingness to learn, that you've got clarity on what your vision is and what your why is, and that you have the recipe and the roadmap to follow to ensure that you stay on track, and that you've got the support of people who get it. Your family and your friends, your spouse, they may support you, but they don't necessarily get it. And you want the people who get it to be surrounded. So, and that's exactly what you get when you join the CAF-Innate Academy. So just going to plug that right there. So if you're wanting that, if any of this that we have that we've said today has resonated with you, and you're just curious, like we encourage you to be curious, then come and have a snoop around. For 1 week, you can get absolutely access to everything that we have created and are continuing to create inside the CAF-Innate Academy. This month, and every month, we've got a new theme centered around either lead generation, so the actual nuts and bolts of the systems and processes that Tiffany was speaking about, on how do you create an opt-in, what is your opt-in, how do you create that thing that generates people signing up to your newsletter, and what do you need, how do you communicate with them so that it leads them to buy your offer. And then we've also got the content creation, which is then the physical. How do you make the video? How do you take the photo? How do you tell a story? How do you, all those kinds of technical things. So we've got recipes and roadmaps for each one of those categories. There are 8 in total, and you can come and access all of it absolutely free. So it gives you a central point, a central hub, so that you can drown out the noise and just focus on what's important to move you along on this journey. And we are just adding more and more to that every single month, with the underlying value and approach of doing this without the noise, without the overwhelm that comes with social media. There are other ways of doing growing online businesses in a more minimalistic way. And we don't have, we're not running around with masses of energy anymore. We are discerning over 40-year-old women, and so we need the time to be able to sit and relax and enjoy the sunsets at the end of the day. So we're not ever going to say that you need to be posting on social media every single day. That's just exhausting. We're too old for that.
I love that.
I keep wanting to say that old Danny Glover saying, "I'm too old for this shit." What movie is that with Mel Gibson? Yeah, that one.
I'm useless at movies, so I wouldn't know. No, and also what's so nice about the CAF-Innate Academy is that you've got access to us, to Abby and myself, in our Ask the Expert section. So if you are struggling with anything, even technical things, you can message us directly. We will reply, of course, and help you out. And we also have a wonderful Telegram group of members where you are able to connect with other women entrepreneurs over 40 going through the same as you, and that's where we draw our energy from, and keeps us moving forward and holding us accountable of the intentions we set every month, so that we actually can move our businesses forward. So we've got lots of live events. We've got, at the beginning of the month, we've got the brew of the month. So as Abigail was saying, we have every month this new theme, and we then support you in that particular month on those themes as well. And then we've got live Q&As every month. So if anything is troubling you, you need questions answered, we've got these live Q&As, perfect for that. And then we've got our members casual coffee chat, where we can connect with all our members virtually all over the world, and we do that on our live events. So if you want to check out our next live events, you can go to cafinnate.com/events.
Yeah.
And then I think we also have the quiz. I would love to mention the quiz. If you want to know how confident you are online, so what is your online confidence score? We've created a quiz for you to take and find out. I was surprised by my results, and at the end of it, you're pointed in the right direction, which way you can improve your online confidence score.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's important to have that awareness, because you can't improve on that which you're not aware of. So this gives you clarity as to what is the thing that's holding you back from starting your online business. What is the thing? Because you might think it's one thing, and then it turns out actually it's something else altogether that has been the reason that you've got that resistance. So you need to know what that is before you can actually do something to address it.
Absolutely. And I think that's a wrap. If you have any comments, any thoughts, please share that with us in the comments section, and we will, of course, reply. And we look forward to having another candid chat like this again soon.
Absolutely. And if there's anything else, any other topics that are coming up for you, let us know so that we can have those conversations, because it's so valuable just to voice the things that are getting in your way. And when you realize it's not just you. There are other people who are struggling with the same thing. So let us know, and we can have these conversations on an ongoing basis. Fantastic.
All right. Well, then
thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you in the next live stream. Make sure you're subscribed, hit the notifications button so that you get notified when we schedule our next live video, and we look forward to seeing you then.
Bye.
Bye.